Welcome back to FPRK Radio Podcast, a podcast where we talk about all the things that tear us apart, the things that we ain't supposed to bring up at work or around people, around family. Anytime you don't want to cause an argument, all those things, politics, religion, and Kanye West, obviously. It's always divisive, and I love it. And we're going to jump right in this week. I'm joined by a guest, world famous comedian.
Who?
You've seen her on television shows.
Yes.
She's on your Netflix. She can't post the controversial shit she sends me because she's got real responsibilities and obligations. Candice Thompson.
That was an amazing intro.
It's like, send it, Candice, send it. He was like, I work for real people.
You be tempting me because I want to, like, biting my tongue. As artists and comics specifically, we got into this to
speak your mind.
Speak. And like controversial things specifically.
Yeah.
And now
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm in a place right now of like, I'm supposed to be starting my own professional practice in my professional world.
I know.
And I've been promoting this podcast at the same time. And every time I post a video from this, I'm like, I can't post like, come see me professionally. It's so hard to post that afterwards.
No, the universe is like, pick, motherfucker. Pick one.
Choose,
you going
right?
to be doing this or you going to be doing this.
It's
professional
so real.
or like speak your mind. You can't do both.
And I'm like, no, I'm going to trade stocks and take down a man. Since that is now a revolutionary act, trading stocks.
So, please don't get me.
Which I love.
Aston.
We can get into that. And guys, since you're just joining us, and I'll probably put this out in a couple of days, but you don't know. We're coming off the first day of AMC Day 6 of the GameStop, and I'm heated, and I just broke it down to Candice, and now she heated.
I understand now.
She understands. She gonna buy some AMC tomorrow. If we still in this, when I post this, hold the line, y'all. Hold the line.
Hold the line.
Hold the line. We gonna take these niggas. We gonna get this money. We'll get this money.
I do. I have the Robin Hood app.
You do have the Robin Hood.
I do.
You want to get on it?
Yeah.
Like, it just hit me today too. Just today, as I'm on the Robin Hood app and I'm looking through Twitter, and I'm getting mad at like the rich people not letting the regular people get their money, and I was like, Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
He robs from the rich and gives to the poor.
That's perfect.
Like,
wait a second. It's all of a sudden things make sense.
Yeah, and I almost was I am switching to another app, Webull, but. And this isn't
Is
a
that
stock.
better?
It's supposed to be better. You can trade after hours and do other stuff, and we can talk about that later.
After
but
hours.
I didn't want to switch it anymore because Robinhood felt so much more appropriate for what was happening.
For sure.
But I can't let that get in the way of my money.
Yeah, no, you got to do the BET Uncut
Yeah.
after hours. Do you remember BET Uncut?
Yeah.
He's like, Candice, who are you talking to?
Yeah, tip drill, pussy popping on a handstand, all that shit. I remember, because remember, like, Nelly was like, he wasn't squeaky clean, but he was like kind of squeaky clean. Like, yeah.
Clean adjacent. Yeah.
And like my mom like loved him. She's like, oh, Nelly, that's my Nelly. And then she came home one night after we had put on BET Uncut, and she came down and saw the tip drill video.
And it ruined everything for her.
She just like, not my Nelly, is what she said, as he's swiping a credit card down some lady's ass. And I was like, that's your Nelly, Mom. That's what he do at night. Better not come down here after 2:00 in the morning. You might.
You're going to see some unsavory footage.
This is all we got. We don't got cable in the house, Mom, so you gotta.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that was BT. So tell us about yourself, Candice.
Aston, where do I begin?
Well,
it all started.
Where are you from?
Originally Queens, first almost decade of my life. Yeah, I was like almost 10 when we moved to Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
My dad's job. Everyone's like, why did you do that? And I'm like, I was barely 10. I didn't have a choice.
I didn't make
in the
a decision.
What are we talking about? People say that all.
Why
would you do?
Why?
I was a child.
But you had a family. I was a dependent. You know how to get food.
What are we talking about? Do you know how children work? We can't make any decisions.
Yo, I'm staying here in New York, son.
Yeah, I'm just going. I'm gonna make it work. Fuck all these child labor laws. I'm just gonna make my own way.
If you were a kid, you probably would move to Cincinnati because, like, I can't afford this shit.
That would make perfect sense, actually.
I might be able to figure it out. So you went to Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. And then that's where, I went to high school, college, junior high, end of elementary, junior high, high school, college, and realized probably 6 months before graduating from college that, I don't want to do this.
Good for you. I was a year in a law school before I was like, I should have followed a dream. But then I was already too deep.
You were already, but still, most people don't get to that revelation until they're in their 50s, 60s.
Yeah,
like, man, I could have been doing something else, something that I loved.
I remember somebody had told me that talked to their kids about going to law school. And I was like, oh, yeah, what do you want to do really in life? Yeah. Go do that. Like,
I'm the wrong person.
And they mom just grabbed them and just ran them out the other room. So what are you telling my kids? I was like, you told me to talk to them.
Like, you told me to tell them the truth.
Yeah,
okay?
Follow a dream.
Can I tell you that if someone had told me, like, you can do whatever you want, like, not like within, reason, like, right. Candice, you can't be like, you can't be an Olympic athlete because you just don't have it.
Yeah, it's just not. But I mean, listen, they can't tell you that until you're like,
until you've given them some empirical evidence that you were going to fail at it.
Yeah. Like, they can't be like 3, like, Candice, sorry. Have you seen the rest of the family? It's not in you. Sorry.
No, you have to, let the kid grow and then show you by their multiple failures on the track and field like I did. Like, because at one point I was like, oh, I'm fast. And then I got smoked by.
Right. And you're like, this isn't how it goes.
This ain't for me.
I remember I had a little cousin who came once and he was like 15 or 16 years old. And he was like, oh, what do you want to do? Because he's like, come with us. And again, parents bringing kids around me to be inspired.
So interesting.
And all we did was like smoke weed and drink around and take it apart.
That's inspiration.
It was. He learned nothing. He's a little snitch. But he came there and he's like, yeah, I'm going to be a professional basketball player. He was like, all right, bet. Like, cool. It was a cousin, but he was like a cousin we had just met. He was like a second cousin.
How old was he?
15, 16.
Was he tall at least?
He wasn't that tall. He was like, maybe like 5'10", something like that. So he was like, all right, bet. Mm-hmm. And we take him to the court, just like the pickup court. And he getting balled out by people. I was like, listen, bro. Me. Yeah, I'm like, if you ain't the best person on this court
right now,
obviously, like if you ain't banging on people, if you ain't put up the most points in here, you ain't going to the league. You not going D1. You might not start for your school.
Like we're not even good.
Yeah, that boy over there, he's 37 years old with a knee brace on. You can't be getting balled out by him. Like you gotta recognize your limitations. You would have known by now.
That's the delusion of it. And so, but which is interesting because, as comedians, we hold a level of delusion thinking that, to stick in this long enough to think we're going to be successful. It is like kind of like thinking a professional athlete, like saying you're going to get selected to go pro. That's such a small percentage of people, of all the athletes that try. That's literally what we're saying.
Us, yeah.
So we have to have
we're almost like a smaller percentage of the ones that super make it.
For sure.
Because at least there's not I mean, I guess we can get our writing jobs and do all that other stuff, but there's not for if you make it in the league, you might be riding deep on the bench, but you still getting the league minimum.
For sure.
We riding the bench broke.
Right. We're talking about then you're doing like road gigs as survival.
Right.
And that's not a nice life for anybody.
It's not a sweet life. All right, but forget all that. Forget all that.
That's not why we're here.
That's not why we're here because I hit you up too, and I've been wanting to have you on because you are. I was going to say as crazy as me, but I'll go a little crazier. You might be a little crazier than me. Yeah, which is a compliment. It's not a compliment.
Thank you.
Y'all have all heard my wild views. And from my wild views, there's a few people that I'm like, oh, I can hit this person up, and I know they going to just bounce it back and might bounce back something crazier. Like, oh, but did you see this? Candice.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm crazier. I did start QAnon. But
I did start QAnon.
That was my organization.
Well, I want to start right on QAnon.
Oh, please.
Right on QAnon. Because I'm not a QAnon person.
Me neither.
I don't believe in QAnon, but I think the things that they are wrong about is that Barron Trump is a time traveler or that JFK Jr. was a fan of Trump.
Wait, they said Barron...
Did you not make it to the end of the QAnon?
I did not.
Oh, it is like, you know how Scientology is crazy, but then once you get to the alien Xenu and all that, you're like, y'all
you're
crazy?
Really crazy.
The end of QAnon, like it goes, yes, there's
an arc.
There is a pedophile of like, Democrat cabals who do Pizzagate and all that other stuff, which is where we're going to get back to.
Of course.
But where it also goes is, one, JFK Jr.,
I do know about that.
You know about that?
I do know about that.
He's been hanging around Trump the whole time. He was supposed to come back and all that stuff. Also, Barron Trump is a time traveler. He's come from back in time, possibly Nikola Tesla reincarnated with all of the secrets of Nikola Tesla. So he was going to come back from time with all of the secrets, with like the energy and all this other stuff, and they were going to like save us through technology and from the pedophiles. And the only thing that I think is crazy about all that is that shit.
The Baron being Nikola Tesla reincarnated.
Right. And also that Donald Trump wasn't also a pedophile. And that's where they lost me.
Right. And and I agree. It's like, here's the thing. It's like Alex Jones, where it's like they'll say some nugget of truth where it's like, okay, let's get this out to the masses because I believe that's happening 100%. Right. And then they go completely too far, and then it makes everything it discredits everything you say.
And now I can't even say that I heard it from him. Like you got to be like, listen, all right, I know all this is crazy, but it's like if I told you something true that Jesus said,
right?
It does discount the rest of the Bible, but this thing is still true. Like we can still consider things to be truth.
Exactly.
With that and discard, like dumb people say smart stuff sometimes.
But I think that's the brilliance of it, and I don't know if like, let's say, for example, if QAnon had been infiltrated, which clearly it was, like it's been infiltrated by many things, but but I think that could have been a thing. Like if there were nuggets of, because there were some nuggets of truth for sure in the QAnon movement, but then there was those pieces that were so far-fetched, and I don't know if that was by design, where it's like, okay, let's discredit these people because they're on to something, so let's make people think they're absolutely batshit crazy by putting this in there, and then that's when they just lose all momentum. And
then they're crazy. And again, before I like lose followers, Aston's a QAnon person, and they're talking to each other without masks on. We both were COVID tested before we did this.
Every day I COVID test myself.
Yes.
Myself.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Okay. But like I stay inside.
I do stay inside.
Okay.
What else is there to do?
Right. But I was watching, and I hit you up during this too. I was watching the Epstein, another Epstein documentary.
There's so many. Yeah.
And what blows my mind is, as a country, we all agreed that Jeffrey Epstein was a billionaire pedophile who catered to rich people and politicians.
Correct.
These
are facts.
Right. They're facts that no one denies. No one denies it. We had the whole meme, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself because he has all these information on people and he was going to give it up and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we go, so he was with Bill Clinton and Donald Trump and Prince Andrew and them over there and them over there like all the time. And we're like, okay, that's too far.
Not too far.
Right. Like, and
photographic evidence.
It's like literally like, who do you think if we know he's out here being a pedophile, and then we see this dude over here just all the time with him.
All the time.
Like, what do we know about this dude? I don't know. He stuck a cigar in a 21-year-old girl's pussy in the Oval Office.
Right.
But
this is too far. And we'll also have the flight logs. Like
the flight logs.
We have the flight logs. Right. He was on there. Clinton was on there numerous. Like I want to say 26 times.
26 times.
Yeah.
Yes, 26 times. Been on the island. People seen him on the island. Like.
But that's too far-fetched.
But it's too far-fetched.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter ain't at the DNC convention, the Democratic National Convention, but Bill Clinton's giving a speech.
Right.
Which is like, it infuriates me. Like, it makes me lose my mind. What are y'all talking about? Like.
No, I know. I know. It's still like, why? Even, they're like, and especially the Clintons, it's like they're untouchable. It's like there's nothing you can say. Because, that was even one of the rumors is who killed Jeffrey Epstein. That was even like just a joke in conversation. Right. It was the Clintons, right? Like, even joking, but there's truth in jokes. We know that.
Right.
And there was a reason for people to start saying that is because we all knew
that was
a
on a plane
possibility.
26 times.
Yeah. And we've also heard of the Clintons like kill lists. Like
you feel me? Like and listen, just to always try to keep myself sane and sounding sane to people, which is, to keep them coming along.
Yeah.
Have the Clintons killed people? I don't know. Maybe, probably, maybe. I don't know. Do I have enough evidence about it? I absolutely don't.
Yeah.
Do I have enough evidence that Bill Clinton was flying around with the billionaire pedophile that
Absolutely.
we know is, like, there is more than enough.
Absolutely.
There's pictures of him getting massaged by the young girls. Like, well, yeah, it was just a massage.
Absolutely.
Like, and then like literally people would be like, oh my God, are you mad about now you wish you voted for Hillary? And I'm like, no, nigga, I still think her husband was touching kids and that if she ain't know about it, like.
Well, can we talk about the sniffing? The Biden sniffing?
And the island?
Yes.
I don't know if y'all
not a
like
coincidence.
it's not right. And they're like, well, it's his brother's island technically. Yes, Joe uses the property sometimes, and yes, it has a submarine station underneath, and yes, Ghislaine Maxwell has a submarine and a submarine license, and yes, it's right next to the island. But who's to say?
That could have been just a recreational submarine.
Yes, he touches and sniffs every little girl that walks past him. Yeah, obviously. Yes, women have accused him of groping and assaulting them.
Also sexual assault.
But how can? Don't be crazy. Don't be crazy.
That's what I can't stand
like,
with the hypocrisy.
I feel like I'm literally like being gaslit because I'm like that. It seems way easier to use your eyes, right? Your eyes and like evidence, right? Like even Snopes is where I found out that it's not Joe Biden's island, but it's his brother island. Because, like, fact check, Joe Biden doesn't own an island. He doesn't own an island. His brother owns an island. So, but it says at the top, false. So if you look up, does Joe Biden own an island next to Little St. James Island, it says false. And then you read the thing, and it's like, no, his brother owns it, and he used the property sometimes. But everything else is true. So what the fuck are we talking about?
But people see that one thing. Also, Snopes is not to be trusted either. Like everyone, and I tweeted this not too long ago because people fail to realize this too. I was like, there's two types of people in the world. There's people who believe the fact checkers, and then there's people who believe that fact checkers can also be bought.
Naturally. Like what is, and this is like also like part of this thing now that leads me to being angrier at Democrats than Republicans sometimes. Is this whole like they're like I believe facts.
Yes.
I believe science.
Yes.
And like not like even like I was talking to somebody the other day and they're like, oh well, I'm getting the vaccine because I believe the science. And I was like well I don't want coronavirus, so I'm getting the vaccine. I was like, well, the vaccine, they don't know if the vaccine actually does protect you against coronavirus, and they like don't know how long the vaccine will last. Like, well, I trust the science. I'm like, bitch, that's what the science said.
That's what the science says.
That's what the nigga said on TV.
That's literally every vaccine. It does not necessarily prevent you from getting it. It's gonna try to help you stop maybe so that you can create the antibodies, but that's not 100% guarantee you're not gonna get it.
And like people talking to me like, oh, well, there's a 99% chance that I don't get it. I was like, who told you that? You just told me you believe the science. And I read the report, so I don't know what you're talking about. But you're like, yeah.
Everyone's lost their mind. Can I tell you that? And why is talking about the history of vaccines so problematic? Like, if people just put any effort into just searching, what are all these people talking about? Why are people doubting vaccines? They don't even bother to look up to see. There's been documentaries that were, was it Robert De Niro? He went on like the Today Show talking about that documentary Vaxxed, which I don't believe is even available anymore. Yeah. But it was at his film fest, Tribeca Film Festival. And he was talking about like, yeah, there's problems with vaccines and like their kid, they think their kid who was like 18 at the time, I think, they think he got autism from a vaccine. And it's like when enough people start saying something, even if I don't necessarily believe it, I'm going to research it myself and use my own discernment to see whether or not I then take in that information, whether I'm going to believe it or not. But I would at least look into it. There are people who refuse to even look up.
Right.
It's just so much easier to dismiss someone as crazy.
And I haven't looked into like regular vaccines at all. Like I don't have no kids.
Yeah.
I don't care. Right. Yeah. Like I just see it. I don't care.
Like it don't affect me.
It don't affect me. I don't care. I got a flu shot once. I got a little flu afterwards. I know that. And then this one came up, and I didn't want to argue with people. Like I mean, from the jump, I was like, you ain't getting me. But I was like, all right, let me look it up. And I didn't go to like, oh, what's wrong with the vaccine? I went to let's explain what the vaccine is, reasons why you shouldn't be concerned about the vaccine. Like that's what I was watching, right? Like, and even after that, I was like, that didn't make me feel any. Like, is that making y'all feel better?
Comfortable?
That was. Oh, they've been working on this vaccine for 20 years, but it was unstable, so they didn't use it. But they added a little thing, and now they're not sure if it works, but they think so. I'm like, and someone goes, "Oh, Aston, I'll get it as long as I know it doesn't mess with my reproductive system." I was like, well, how would they know that? How would they possibly know that? Because they didn't have enough time to test that. Like, you couldn't even have a baby in a time to know how it would affect your reproductive system.
Exactly.
So you don't know. And they go, oh, I guess that's true.
But what if it affects something else? Is your brain not important, or your heart, your other organs?
Right? Yeah.
The Bell's palsy. That people getting Bell's.
That was the one that someone said.
You text me. You showed a screenshot of your friend that said, I'll get Bell's palsy. I'll get
it. Listen, I'll tell you what. If there was 100% chance I got Bell's palsy, I would take it. If it meant I was saving people's lives, I was like, the hell, you have children that have to look at your face. Like they go, like you. Daddy, why's your face messed up? Because I was saving people.
I was saving lives.
That I think. I don't know. I didn't read the report, but they told me on the news.
Like, here's why, and a lot of people don't know this about me, but I have a science background. Like I have a degree in science. Like I was a dietetics major. I studied nutrition. At one point I thought I was gonna, go into health, and because I am, me, I'm vegan now, but even that was a process. But I take health very seriously. And I've actually healed myself of a mystery something back in 2018 that doctors were like, I think it's a virus. We don't know. Kept putting me on antivirals, and then still nothing. And it was still affecting me. I was depressed, and it was bothering me, and I was sick a lot. And I healed myself by switching my diet and going into the naturopathic healing methods that a lot of doctors who are naturopathic doctors have just also mysteriously died. Know that. So it's like people out here healing stuff.
They needed to go to a doctor. Just kidding.
Sounds like they needed to go to Cedar Sinai, Candice. If they was
mysteriously die from some illness.
Well, the one doctor who I want to say his name, but it might get this pulled from whatever. But there's a black doctor who was very popular. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm talking about. But people also associated with him also died too. Left Eye, Nipsey was working on a documentary about him. But anyway, so I did study a bunch of his stuff, and that's how I detoxed after switching my diet to what he said, fruits, vegetables. And I haven't been sick since. Haven't been, not even with anything. And so to tell people think you're crazy when you're like, it literally is the stuff you put in your body. Like you just need to, your cells don't eat what we think that they eat. Like your cells can't do anything with a Reuben sandwich. Like your cells.
Yeah, but my mouth.
Exactly. You're like, my stomach though.
No, my stomach is like, no, we don't do this. But my mouth is like, we do.
We do. My taste buds are all in this. Your cells are like, I need some chlorella. And your cells are like, where's the chlorophyll at though?
I bought kale yesterday, so
I'm so happy.
Yeah, I got kale, avocado, and then straight up, I was literally like buying stuff. I think I only got kale and avocado. But I looked on the dude's list of like foods I should be eating.
Yeah.
And when I got to the market, I was like, kale, avocado.
That's a start.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a start.
I put it on a roast beef sandwich.
It's a start. That's not a start.
Listen, I was mixing it up.
You had the makings.
Superfoods. It's fine. It's fine.
That's what we tell ourselves until it's not anymore.
Well, that's funny. When I talked to one girl like a few months ago. We were talking about the vaccine or something, and she was like, "Yeah, I want to get a flu shot. I would never go to a doctor." And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I've got a flu shot before." She asked, "I can't believe you. I can't believe you got a flu shot before." And I was like, I was in this, and then she was like, "I was in a motorcycle accident. I didn't go to the hospital. I healed myself."
Okay. Like, wait, did she really say that?
I was in a motorcycle accident. I walked it off.
Stop it.
And I was like, okay.
Is she an X-Men?
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm not that crazy. I'll go for look, I'm not shitting on doctors. What I will say is, look, great for emergency medicine. If you're in an emergency, of course, go to the doctors. If you have something that needs to be stitched up, I understand it. My thing is when you have diabetes and when you have, you notice you have to keep taking the drugs for it. So it's that's not a cure, obviously.
Right.
You want to get, they don't get to the root. The prescription medications don't ever get to the root of what's going on. They just cover it up. And that's where I have the problem with this is not healthy.
Right. And that is, I am not for just completely throwing out Western medicine.
Of course not. There's a happy medium where they can both coexist.
Yeah. But a lot of, and even with a lot of the COVID stuff,
COVID's not real. He said I was the crazy one.
This is the second week I'm going to have to mention the views expressed on this podcast.
I'm kidding. COVID's real. I believe it's real.
But you and my friend who got in a motorcycle accident, and a lot of people are like, listen, we need the best defense you have against it is what you're putting in your body and building up your
a
own
healthy immune system, yeah.
And I can even go both ways and go I put your mask on, eat good, and the thing that and what bothers me is that only one message is getting pushed, right?
Of course.
People being like, no, just put your mask on. And I'm like, well, then you don't actually give a shit about this, and you don't care what happens to them after COVID.
That's
right?
Exactly. And I mean, I got semi-attacked on Twitter for posting if you guys really cared about stopping the spread, you would eat better and exercise and try do some behavioral lifestyle changes. But it's you're doing the bare minimum. Also, why it's just bizarre to me that you care about this one type of death. People are dying from so many heart disease, diabetes,
and
so many more people are dying.
I'm pretty positive that America's deaths are high for a lot of reasons, but one of them is just because of how fat we are and the food that we eat. Obviously,
that's the reason.
Yeah. And that should be talked about more and more often. 4,000 people died today. That's the reason.
Let's talk about morbid obesity.
Because literally every person that they keep showing me on the news that's guys, take this seriously. There's some 300-pound dude on there being guys, it's real, it's out there. And I'm like, could y'all find just at least one healthy person
no, they won't.
in front of me?
And they can't.
Right? Because I feel like they would. They try so hard to have good looking, just have one hot person on the television going, this is real.
No, they have those because they know the healthy ones get it and then they get better. And they're like, oh yeah, that was a bad flu.
Yeah, and by no means I don't want it. And I just talked to a friend this weekend who had it, and their sense of taste and smell still hasn't come back. And I was like, yo, forget the fever that you had.
Yes.
If I can't taste
just kill me.
My ribs, just kidding.
Just kill me.
Just right. To wrap that up, news. Show me a skinny person dying. Just show me someone want to have sex with die, and
then I'll be concerned. Then wear all the masks you want.
Have you not learned anything about America? We need hot people doing it. We didn't care until Tom Hanks got it. We won't care until, and then No, she's pregnant.
Is she?
Yeah, she's real pregnant. I need someone less desirable to die.
Okay.
I don't know. Not black though. We need all of America to care.
All of black people need to stay healthy.
Yes.
All of us.
Including that 300-pound dude they showed me the news 2 weeks ago. Religion.
Yes.
I find you're probably a spiritual person.
I'm actually Amish. No.
I was like, I don't know. I just today, just like how black people stay low. I was reading, my friend posted, just a list of all of the people that Hitler killed. Just forget Hitler, but it was like 6 million Jews, 5 million this, 5 million this, and the whole list. And towards the bottom, second last, 5,000 Jehovah's Witnesses, and I was like, oh, it's personal.
Wow.
Yeah, he was wiping out the Jehovah's Witnesses back then.
5,000, that's pretty substantial.
That's a lot. That's like the whole convention.
Yeah, there's not that many, I don't think. I mean, you don't just...
You had me.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Jehovah's Witnesses is deep.
They don't, in LA, though? Not here.
Yeah. Do I know where the Kingdom Hall is? Yeah. I mean, I know they set up down the block every week on 7th and Broadway. Because one of my old interpreters used to always like pull up on me like, what's up, Aston, when you coming back to the Kingdom Hall? And I'm like, never.
Never. Wait, how long were you witness?
My young life?
Inside, like childhood, teenager?
No.
Just childhood?
Yeah, like maybe like 8 or 9.
Oh, you didn't last long at all. You were like, this is
I pulled out, yeah, totally.
Quick.
Totally. I was like, this ain't adding up. I don't know.
What was the straw that broke the camel's back?
The thing I can remember most that like bothered me is when I started asking questions, because in the Kingdom Hall, like the Watchtower service, they had the service, and then afterwards it's like a Watchtower service and then field service. In the Watchtower, you get this. It's a magazine that they give out every week. And the magazine has a little lessons in it, and then you bring the little magazine to the thing. You have the Watchtower service, so you will read the article, and then there's questions at the end. Okay. And essentially, what you're supposed to be doing with the questions is literally just going back into the article and reading the answer verbatim from the thing. Oh. So they'll be like, why did Jesus do this? And then you raise your hand, and you're like, Jesus did this because he did that, and you're just supposed to read it. And I was a nerd-ass kid, and I really like to raise my hand a lot. I like to answer questions, right? So yeah, I would always first I just liked reading the answer back. Like we would read it as a family, highlight it, and so I'd be ready when we got in there. And then after, I'd be like, well, hold on, I don't know if that's the answer.
It tells me this is the answer, but something inside is telling me, what if this is just what they want me to think is the answer?
Right. That was kind of one of the things that bothered me.
It's called critical thinking. We're lacking that.
So as soon as I developed that, I was out.
And it's shocking because it is like that. I have so many questions about so many things that are happening today that I'm like, why are people not asking, just accepting everything that's happening? But critical thinking is not common, I guess.
It's one of the things now, having made it this far outside, I think religion and other types of indoctrination that we endure as kids is kind of the first building block to us accepting lies. I think it's the first, right? Yeah, it's the first thing of I don't understand this. This doesn't make sense, but I have to believe it because you said it.
Because you told me. It's like when your mom, your mom punishes you, and you're like, why? Because I said so.
Right.
That don't make it.
But your mom actually has a better reason for that she can't tell you. Whether it's mommy wasn't supposed to be doing that, or you might die.
For sure.
There's both things.
For sure, yeah.
No, don't worry about it, because I said so. I think he's smoking weed, Mom.
Yeah, even if it's I'm doing grown ass shit, and I need you to go away right now.
There's a reason behind it, but religion, it's just it just is.
Just is.
Exactly. You're gonna go up to heaven. Well, where's heaven exactly? It's in the clouds. Well, I don't see it. It's just there. Well, what's it look like? Are we the same age? What's it? Just stop asking questions. Yeah. But I think that's really that I think it's because all the time when I'm talking to people about other things or anything, and I'm like, how are you listening to this? It doesn't make sense. But I think our brains are just kind of trained into that place.
For sure, indoctrination is real as fuck. I was raised Episcopal, so we went to church, and I was confirmed. It's so funny. My sister just sent me a picture of my not at the church, but I was dressed in my confirmation. It's kind of we were Episcopal, so it was very similar like a baptism. But I was dressed in a white dress and I had a white handkerchief thing hanging from my head, and I have a picture with my grandmother. And but yeah, and so we went to church, but it was not like this. My parents were never like Bible thumpers. I think what they just wanted was for their kids to be raised with a good moral compass and to respect other people and to just, don't murder people.
Right.
The 10 Commandments.
I'm glad like my parents were always kind of like my mom always done. I just need some kind of spirituality, Because she was Baptist, but she would like, well, we go be jokes, but I don't care. Just, speak a good word, and put some little structure or whatever.
Right.
And I don't hate the lessons, so, it's fine.
For sure. Yeah, no, I don't know what, I think, I moved out here and I considered myself still Christian when I moved out to LA. And which I noticed really quickly. I was like, oh man, no one believes in anything.
Yeah.
Talk about like just devoid of any type of like souls in LA. So I felt like it was palpable.
I was like,
see, and I was the complete opposite. Because and it's not, and I did have to find my way because I don't consider myself Christian anymore. I would go to churches every once in a while and like bounce to what are those the big one like in Inglewood, the Forum?
That's
a concert hall.
Yes, West Angeles Baptist.
I went there, but no, I think there was church at the Forum, and I'm not making that because I think the church was being worked on, and I think people were going
Kanye West Sunday service. Because I think that's the last time I went to church personally. It was Kanye. Besides funerals, the last time I was at church is Kanye West Sunday service.
Sunday service. I would definitely go to that. I'd be Christian for a day.
It was kind of, but it was so funny. I went to it, and at some point they do a prayer, and I was like, I'm gonna go get a hot dog.
He's like, put a pin in there.
Yeah. Go ahead. I do that. I'm so dumb. I'm such a heathen. Like they were playing all the it's a gospel album, right? So they're playing all the gospel music, but they also like from the album, but they also just play church songs, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know church songs. So I literally they were singing one, everyone knew the words. I was like, oh, is this on the album? I didn't even hear this one. They were like, actually, this is a church song.
Standard.
You fucking heathen.
Baptist church song from 1835.
They sang this shit in slavery. Kanye didn't write this. So you was going to black churches here?
I did go to a few black churches, and what I didn't like just from jump was the celebrities that were and I think it was the Forum that they were having service.
That's probably.
This was years. We're talking 2007. So I think they were doing construction at the church. So in the meantime, they were holding it at the Forum.
And they love church, so they pull up there.
Oh, there were so many people. It was necessary, that stadium. And so, but I remember Blair Underwood being there, and it just felt like it was more spectacle and just who can see me here. It just felt like there were people going for superficial reasons. And then I bounced around to other churches, and I never felt like I found a church home out here. And then years later, I was introduced to meditation. And that's where I am right now, which is I practice Krishna consciousness, which means I believe in the God, the universe. I also do believe in Jesus too. I think in every every region there was somebody sent to them to spread the word of God, to teach people. But it wasn't the same person everywhere. So everyone got kind of the same message, and man was also involved with those messages, so it did get manipulated for personal reasons and agendas.
Right. So and I always am. I say often on here that I am a fan of Jesus.
Yeah.
And I used to have the Jefferson Bible, which is just Jesus minus all of the miracles. And I was really big in a while on prophets. I'm Jesus could be a prophet, Muhammad could be a prophet, Kanye could be a prophet,
Erykah
Badu, Bob Marley. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? There's different people, and I'm and then that's where I always go. And you're saying, it's I think the importance of them is less about them and more about their message. And that's where we all mess up, where people are well, Jesus said to love. People are like, my God said I need to love. And it's like, well, they had the same message. So what if we just
get on the same page and stop hating one another and like God and that happened because God's punishing you. Like, well, not really. That's probably more, my belief. That's karma. That's like some shit you did.
Yeah.
That's just. I mean, if you look at the laws of the universe, it's like there's the law of cause and effect. So some shit. We're all vibrations. We're all frequencies, and that's. And I just know from my own personal, experience of meditating how like it's legit changed my life, and I've seen like my career and personal life, just everything just became in alignment after I started like just putting out, changing my thoughts and my mentality. Yeah.
What kind of meditation do you do?
Nam Young Ho Renge Kyo. That's
from
What's Love Got to Do with It? No, a lot of people do transcendental, which I've actually never. Maybe that's what I do. I don't know, but people go away and they go to like a retreat and they find out they have like a Sherpa or someone giving them, here's your mantra.
Here's your mantra. My homie was like, yo, you want a mantra? Like I can give you one. Like I just paid $1,200 for a mantra. I was like, nah. No.
I'm good. Wait, how is he gonna give you one? Is that how it works?
He said he figured out how to do it or something. He's like, I paid for mine, but I'll hook you up. And I was like, bro,
I'll find my own for free. How about that?
I was like, there's some dude on Broadway.
He's a mantra man. He said a hustle man. He's selling mantras on the corner of 6th and Broadway.
These mantras, bro? This one's for serenity. This one over here is for peace. This one's tranquility. What you need? I got black love. I got... What kind of mantra you looking for, fam?
And I'm like, is there one that has all of those things?
I don't know. This one's still in the rapper. Look at that. This is good for real. He told me to get on the hike the other day. He was like, nah, for real, man. I was like,
I'm good. I can get my, like, I never did that. And my friend, Owen Smith? Yeah, super funny comic. He did that too, and he told me he paid like $1,500 for a mantra. I was like, I never did it. I like chants, but I just do chants that are like well-known chants that are just to get you your vibration and attract positive energy and manifestation. But like I didn't want to pay money for that. Like you don't need to at all.
It seemed bonkers to me. Like it seems. Like you went to someone and paid them in excess of how much money for a mantra? Because one, personally, my little like free love belief is that anyone qualified enough to give me a mantra is going to give me a mantra.
That's to just give it to you.
Right.
Yeah, anyone who's also in that, who's that's basically their ethos is like, I'm here to spread love, and that's I know things about meditation. I don't charge people. Like I would just tell them because I want them to know and I want them to have that positive experience.
Right. Like I'll charge you for legal services, but I'm not going to charge you to
make your life better.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine Jesus being like, hey fam, you want to see? You got that one? Like, what are you talking about?
That's right there.
And then everybody will be like, yo, Jesus is a scammer. We should talk, watch this nigga over here. Bro, I said you can give me a mantra. You can get me started on that. But no, shout out to the homie, and I hope your mantra works for you and everything. He's doing great. He's doing great with his mantra. I'm not saying it's a bad mantra. I'm sure he got a good mantra. I'm just not paying nobody for it.
I'm sure it works. But also, and then that's such an exorbitant price. Like, why $1,200? He could have given him a mantra for $75.
75. 75, I'd have been like, that's fair, you gotta eat.
That's fair.
You gotta eat.
Facts.
But you charging me for, okay.
Yeah.
Here go these 3 words. Where you get them from? Who the plug? Who the mantra plug? How much you pay for that? Who's the markup? Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you have did you just give this out to the next nigga? Like, why are you, like, how are you giving me
How are you giving me?
Right.
I just went on YouTube and found some I liked.
That's it. Right?
Literally all I do.
I'll bust a ohm sometimes.
That's right. Yeah, that's the vibration of the universe.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, what more do I need?
Yeah.
All right. That was hold on. I had one other thing I wanted to talk to you on this. I don't remember what it was.
Let's manifest it. Nam Young Ho Renge Kyo.
For paying for the mantra.
I lost it.
So you're a Krishna conscious.
Yeah, you can call me a Hare Krishna, sure.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten my robe yet.
Yeah, you look a little Harry Christian right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, pull up on the airport. But believe in Jesus as well. Do you believe in miracle Jesus or just like good word Jesus?
Oh no, both.
Okay.
Both. Yeah, no. Jesus had powers, but that's the thing. Everyone has powers, and I think that that's the thing that we were talking earlier. When we were recording it, we were talking about athleticism and like believing you can do things within reason. Mm-hmm. It's like we do. And they try so hard to suppress this information in us, back to the indoctrination and also just the stuff that they put in our foods to like keep us sick, like the fluoride and people think this is a conspiracy. It's like, no, they put fluoride in our water, and fluoride, they think it's too...
Oh, people immediately call you crazy.
Yeah, it's not...
And I'm like, why would you... Just stop and ask yourself the simple thing is, why are they adding anything to your water? It's just water. Just water. So give me water.
It doesn't need to have anything in it.
Oh, no, but it's for your teeth. Brush them, nigga. What are you talking about?
You're talking about the government that won't even give us our stimulus checks. They care about our teeth.
Yeah, we got to fluoridate all your like. This is the dumbest. And they literally they look at you like you're crazy for it. And I'm like, listen. Even if you don't think it's doing anything, even if it's whatever, why would they put it in your water?
Why? Just think. Ask that question. Why and answer it.
Right.
That's all it is. But that. Specifically as a poison, fluoride is a poison, and it also attracts aluminum to keep aluminum in your brain, which is also a factor in Alzheimer's and dementia. So just know that. But also the fluoride specifically calcifies your pineal gland, which is your God gland, which is your third eye connection. So with your intuition, all that, and again, I don't have any evidence of this, but I guarantee that is why they do that, is so that is cloudier. So your judgment, and you don't realize the powers that you do have. We do have.
Have you read that book, The Secret of the Flower of the John?
No.
The Purple Secret Flower?
Is that what it's called? The Secret of the Flower of the John?
Yeah.
Let me Google that right now.
The Secret of the Flower of the John. You know what it is? The purple book. I haven't gotten through it yet. But I remember, did you see when Terrence Howard, they said Terrence Howard gave that like crazy interview?
No.
And he was like talking about like, why would I continue acting when I know the secrets of the universe? When if you know about, and he talks like, he sounds crazy.
But didn't he continue acting?
I think so.
Yeah.
He need money.
I guess the secrets of the universe would pay your rent.
A lot. But he was like talking about, I was telling somebody about it one day.
Yeah.
And I was like, but then I started reading The Secret of the Flower of the John book. And so I was telling someone, oh no, you should have heard this stuff crazy Terrence was talking about. He was talking about, and I go, oh shit, I know what he was talking about. It was in the book. He read The Secret of the Flower of the John.
And you're not talking about The Secret though.
No, not The Secret, no.
Which is?
Scratch. I mean, The Secret has truth to it.
For sure.
And then it also is like, and then if you pray for a BMW, you can get it. And I was like, that ain't, okay.
Yeah, there is the power of manifestation, and that is real. And if you do, this is the test that I did. And I don't remember if I read this in The Secret. I read it somewhere, but the test was focus on something daily in your meditation, and it will come to you. And that's the test, whatever it is. Just focus on anything. So I started thinking about a black derby hat. And I was like, what's something that I never see? Because that way I'll know. Yeah. So I started picturing, and I just meditated on it. I would start visualizing a black derby hat, and I did this for probably a month and a half. Every day, black derby hat. I saw 3 of them within the next, I did a set at Z-Bar, or Z-Bar, is that what it's called? There used to be in Koreatown, a show. And I saw one there, and then I went into a Christmas party, and I saw a black derby on a shelf of the chick who was throwing the party. And I was just like, what the fuck? And then one more, I forget where it was, but
that's crazy.
So I'm not going to sit here and say don't work hard and just think about stuff and it'll come to you. But if you focus, it is, the saying, you get what you'll always find what you're looking for. Right. Because if you're focused on it, you weren't paying attention to it before, but now all of a sudden it's there. Even if it's just because you're noticing it more, but you're still fine-tuning yourself. Exactly.
To it.
Exactly.
But I've had enough of just thinking of things happening. I mean, just and it's quick, to the point that I'm just I have to keep reminding myself to be careful. So I'll bring negative stuff in. and I'll be like, I'll take it as a joke, and I'll say something, and I'm like, yeah, you gotta be careful with that.
That's why I stopped. And what sucks being a stand-up comic, because I want to joke about things, but it's like, can't you gotta stop talking about that stuff? Because the more you talk about it, the more you're manifesting it. So I would talk about being single all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about abortions a lot, and I was like, can't you stop?
Yeah. And I really even with jokes, I started to get like more careful. I was like, oh, this person, and I'm like, you know what? No, I can't. Let me not play with this stuff.
Yeah. Words are powerful.
And the other thing I tweeted the other day, which would take you back to what we talking about, is because I was watching football the other day, and thinking about football, and I was like, I stopped enjoying football a while ago, but I only watch it because nobody wants to talk to me about how I think they're purposely convincing us that we can't fly. Like we can fly, but like what you said, like we got powers. Like I'm like we have abilities that are beyond our senses in what we do. I think.
No, we definitely do.
And I'm like that is a training into us type of thing. Mm-hmm. And you should have seen the people when I was in Joshua Tree when I was straight up trying to take off from the rocks, and I was like, John, we can fly.
We can fly.
And I promise you, if I concentrate hard enough,
I'm gonna do it.
And shout out to Renee and Glory, who sat there and watched me stand on that rock and try to take off, believe it. Like you could see it in their eyes, they're like, you about to go. And I was like, I'm about to go. I was like, well, we all are.
all I know, Aston, is there's way too many movies. There's way too many movies about magical, mystical things for it not to have come from somewhere. Like Nikola Tesla, like wasn't he working for the FBI took him at some point. Someone confiscated all of his works, and from what I've read, they use it for their own.
Barron Trump hid them.
Well, Barron Trump obviously.
So you can uncover them later on in the future. I thought we discussed this.
We didn't cover this. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Thought I told you the truth, Candice. I'm gonna need you to keep up.
Look,
Barron Trump's our next president.
He is, and he's a time traveler, and I can't wait.
But who really our next president
is Kanye West.
Let me restart this. I don't. Actually, I'm not gonna say I don't think he's gonna be our next president because who knows what's gonna happen.
This is true.
How do you feel about Kanye?
I wouldn't say I'm hardcore like you, but that's only because a fan like you, and that's only because I probably haven't dedicated enough time to researching. I have to run QAnon, so I don't have enough time to delve into.
You about to get shadow banned.
I probably.
Then you would have posted that tweet if you did.
Yeah, I go back and forth, Aston. If I can get confidence, I'm like, fuck it. I almost tweeted something today. I was like, Candice.
I mean, every time I see you tweet something too, even if I don't agree with it, I'll be like, I don't like that just because she needs support. I know people about to bang on her right now. I got in an argument with somebody on there the other day.
Wait, no, I think I saw. Was it? Can I say his name?
Yeah.
The comment, Terrence.
On your page?
No, on your. Oh, you got it on mine. I was talking about you with the vaccine.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even going with Terrence. I like Terrence. I love Terrence, but Terrence is like he got mad at me once because I said the Democratic Party is a bunch of bitches. And he was like, "Who you calling a bitch?" I was like,
"Why are you taking it?"
If you just jumped up what?
Are you the chairman?
You
the DNC?
That blew my mind. I was like, what are you talking about? And I was like. And I love Terrence and everything, but that's how institutionalized he is. So I can't. I love him, but I was like, I didn't even answer him. I was like, I would expect that from the DNC.
And then he said,
seriously, what does that mean?
You know what that means, but we're back into politics.
Yeah, but all right.
Yeah, so I haven't done enough research into Kanye's all of the controversial things that he's said and done. But I will say, I know what the media does. I know that the media manipulates to put forth their narrative, whatever they want to see, or show of this person. So I know for a fact they're making him look much worse than what he is.
Well,
for sure.
They especially. I'm sure you do this. As soon as someone's labeled crazy. You're like,
they speak truth.
Yeah, what do they have to say? That,
for sure.
That we're all gathering together and dismissing this person as crazy. while they're not like being taken away in a straitjacket, but like being productive and doing stuff, you're like, are they crazy?
Wait a second.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least let me look twice. And sometimes you're like, oh yeah, they are.
For sure. So yeah, the only thing that I will say that makes me like, I mean, he has, he's admitted to being bipolar, right? So he has mental illness, but I have friends that are bipolar.
And all of my bipolar friends are smart.
They're smart, and they see things in such a different way. My bipolar friend is super spiritual, like to the point where she can read like Bible verses, stuff that are like written in parables, stuff that like you have to read it multiple times to understand what the message is.
Yeah.
And she's just like, bah, 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 bah. And I'm like, that's like it's a skill.
Yeah.
And I do think it is because she's bipolar.
Mm-hmm.
That helps. And she's talked to other people that are the same way.
I do have another bipolar friend who is like just deeply in tune.
Yeah.
So like I use that, people like, I'm like, Kanye's crazy. And I'm like, okay, he's not crazy. Like, well, he said he was bipolar. And I go, do you have bipolar friends? They're like, yeah. Like, would you dismiss everything that they were saying? Like, how disrespectful is that to them?
Exactly.
And then how disrespectful then is that to this person?
Exactly.
Like, yeah. So yeah, he is bipolar. So
yeah, but the only thing that didn't, I don't care. Same let me say, I don't care about that. That actually makes me be like, makes me be like, oh, he's on some enlightened shit, really. But the marrying Kim Kardashian.
That's it for a lot of people.
The Kim Kardashian, that into that whole family. But I did note, you have to take note of the fact that he was never really on that show. He was never like a cast member on that show. He was,
all I know is the jacuzzi line.
What's the jacuzzi line?
And she's like, yeah, and like we don't have a jacuzzi, and he was like, can you believe that? Can you believe we don't have a jacuzzi? That's all I know. He was real upset that he didn't have a jacuzzi, and I really like that line.
I think we can end it.
I thought that was a laugh track.
Oh, hilarious. It was just silence. No, crickets. You needed the crickets on there. That would have been more fitting.
Yeah.
But I did like that about him. I was like,
yeah, he was like, I ain't gonna play this game.
For sure. But, and I will say this also, is that there's something about those women, all the men that get involved in them, they crumble. They're mentally. I'm like reminded of Rogan's bit that he does of the Kardashians on the they're just like around the beds, just like around the like men's beds, just like. Yeah, they all the men that were involved with those women. Look what's happened to them. They don't
go well.
No.
You know my theory that Kris Kardashian killed Nicole Simpson just to spark it all off.
Okay, no. I did not.
She was like, when these girls are gonna get famous, we gonna kill Nicole. We're gonna bang this thing.
Kim's gonna put out a
right, we gonna cut your dick off. We gonna get a sex tape for her. Don't worry, daughter. We're gonna swap you out for a hotter version. We're gonna make you a billionaire. That lady has a plan.
She does, for sure.
She has a whole plan. I don't put nothing past her.
That woman is business minded, and she made it happen.
She's so cold, like it's crazy. Like how you want to have your 17-year-old daughter go full reconstructive surgery for the grand? Like, it works.
And nobody said anything. Like, nobody was like, I mean, people said stuff, but it's like, why are we, I give credit where credit's due. So if I see that you got somewhere without and it had nothing to actually do with like you and your skills and talents, I don't give it up for you.
Right.
But everyone is acting as if that's what she just grew up into, this Instagram model type person. And I'm like, that was all fake. That was for show. None of that is authentic.
I really don't even believe this is the same person. I look at the pictures of the two of them and I'm like, that girl's in a basement somewhere.
For sure.
They just being like, can I come back out? Just let me go live somewhere else.
She's like, I wasn't that ugly. Yeah. I was ugly for a Kardashian, but in the rest of the world, I was like a 6.
That's a whole different person. I'm like, that is a 6. Lipless ass little girl.
She did have no lips.
She did no lips.
The only reason I'm not railing on her because she was a kid at the time.
Yeah.
But I think it's even more concerning that she's trying to look like her sister. It's so single white female-ish.
And not even trying to look like it's trying to look like her sister. My issue is all like I'm positive you can go into a surgeon right now and go, give me the Kylie. Give me the camera.
So many people look like that.
And they go, oh yeah, no, we got it back over here. I know exactly what you mean. Don't worry about it.
So many people, and why y'all don't have to stop. I'm putting that on you guys. I'm putting that on men. Y'all need to stop saying that that's okay and dating them and marrying them.
Listen.
What?
Niggas will smash anything. Okay.
No, I know, and that's the problem. We gotta say no. Put your foot down and say. Candice, now you're being unreasonable.
Katrina Davis always like, and this is why they act like this. Every time I think there's some awful girl who's cute, I'm like, she's cute though. Like this is why they act like this. This is
y'all
why.
let them get away with it.
Fine.
But I don't even. To me, that's such a turn on. And I'm old school. I like natural. And I know there are guys that like natural, but for the most part. And especially I'm jaded now because being in LA where everything is plastic.
Yeah.
Everyone, like there are Uber drivers getting Botox. Like, you don't need to do this.
First of all, everyone in LA gets Botox is what I've learned.
I just learned that too.
Yeah.
I did not know this.
I'll be talking to someone about Botox and they're like, listen, it's really not that big of a deal.
And I'm like,
look, it's really not that big of a deal. Everybody gets Botox.
Right.
Oh, I didn't notice it before. Yes, your eyebrows have been moving.
You haven't in weeks.
Didn't even pick up on it. Everybody do it now. And, and Kanye, first of all, I think Amber Rose is better and naturally thick.
She is naturally voluptuous.
Homegrown Philly girl right there. The dude he like big butts and
I cannot lie.
Yeah. And that's what we fell in love with, and she. I don't know their love. I don't know they like.
But they get a divorce now, right? Allegedly.
Maybe. I hope so. But they've said that a lot of times.
Yeah, I just think that's toxic. I think he needs to get out of that environment for sure.
I know he does. I do.
Free Kanye.
And just go up there. And this is the other thing too that with them calling him crazy is especially since. And now I got to check his wealth because we got this argument last week. He might not be the second richest black man in America, but he's a very rich black man in America who owns a lot of property, who is encouraging black people to own property, who's owning black people to own their masters, who is encouraging black people to think for themselves, take their own political movements, et cetera, and all that. Right. And I think if they were doing a less successful job of convincing America that Kanye was crazy, then they would have to kill him.
Oh, for
and
sure.
I think he's safe now
because everyone thinks they just pushed him aside.
I remember when he was he tweeted black people buy land or something, and they got mad. They was like, oh, God, see here, he's out of touch, he's this, that, and I was like, did y'all even look up the price of land? Did you even look it up? You can probably get a couple acres out in Wyoming for.
Have you been to Detroit?
Yeah, you feel me?
I can buy the city.
Right. So, so I'm like, he's doing a lot of the things that we say we need to do to get our freedom, which is establishing our own independence, taking control of our art, getting our own land, all the important things that we need to do. And I would get it if it was just white people that were calling him crazy.
No.
But the way we're buying into it,
I know.
and it's partially his fault because he said that slavery was a choice thing, which I totally understood.
Of course, we talked about this. Yeah, it's like we knew what he meant when he said that. But you take the soundbite and it makes it sound like.
Oh, you got a little bit of shit the other day because you were like.
I did say that on Twitter.
Yeah, I almost tweeted every other week on Twitter. I almost always tweet Kanye was right or slavery is a choice.
We are people can't. That's the thing. You can't tell them. They have to realize they're slaves first, and most people just don't. They think they're free.
But they're already programmed to. As soon as you say that, if I go, well, no, kind of slavery is a choice, and they go, that's my ancestors, and your ancestors dead. Let them rest. We're talking about you right now today.
There's so much to talk. I mean, we don't have time. We can't get into slavery.
Can we? We got a cool. At least
7 minutes.
No, we got 20 minutes left.
Okay.
20 minutes left. We're going an hour and a half. We're going an hour.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want to limit you. I don't want to limit you for talking about slavery.
Perfect.
Because it is one of the more important. It's one of the things. Two of the things that people say Kanye also on.
Right.
Is Trump slavery is a choice for the kid.
Yeah.
And Tim, I'll argue that she's got a really big butt.
And that is reason enough.
Right?
That would attract any man.
Yes.
He's like, I can't even argue.
I watch him get trapped every day. I just watch him just walking down the street getting turned around, spun around.
And in his defense also, it was a great, I guess, business move. You know, if you're looking at strictly from your financial standpoint, a partnership with someone who's that successful.
It doesn't. It can't. All right.
Is that getting picked up?
No. These mics are great. Yeah, they'll be recording in the studio over here with like music blasting, and this mic doesn't pick it up.
Oh.
Yeah, I got good ones.
Yeah. But yeah, just if you're looking at that relationship strictly from maybe he looked at it like Jay-Z and Beyonce got a good thing going on.
Right.
They just increased their wealth. They're building an empire with their family. Like I can do that, and maybe Kim is, you know, she's the only other woman that I know that's like, that's my equal as far as financially.
Yeah.
So I can understand that,
But then the other one is like slavery was a choice, and that's basically I started this a little bit after this podcast a little bit after that.
to defend him.
Yeah, basically, and to like talk to people about not just to defend him, but to like defend that position because I feel like it is a smart and productive one.
Yeah.
Like it's an important message. It's why it had to be shut down immediately.
Yeah.
It's why they took it, clipped it, and repeated it for like two reasons in my mind. Like one is like you said slavery was a choice. You said slavery was a choice, but to also just keep having in the minds of people that slavery was a choice. Slavery was a choice. Slavery was a choice. Right. And then I would talk to so many people about it, and they're like, no, I get what he was saying, but other people don't. Have you talked, like who? Find me the person that didn't get it.
Yeah. Can we have a conversation?
Right. Like, no, he's saying slavery was natural choice. And I was like, well, what would be the point in saying that?
No, exactly. If you're taking what he said literally,
Yeah.
what would be, why?
Yeah.
Again, let's go back to critical thinking.
Right.
Why?
Why would he just say that? Or would he be saying it for you to focus on something that you're doing in your life to free yourself?
Exactly.
And like, nah, that couldn't be it. It was about my ancestors for no reason whatsoever. Or that's how other people are going to take it, so I can't take the point. I can't listen to the point because I have to fight for what I think someone else doesn't understand.
Right.
And I'm like, bruh, just take the point and keep it moving.
It's such a cop-out. Like, you can't say that's how other people are going to interpret it. Like, well, then that's on them.
That's on them. Did you get it? Okay, great. Move on. Bro, find out how you were slave. Like, you know what I mean?
You can't tell, you can't. People just, there's just, you know, we get frustrated all the time because, like, why don't people see the things that we see? And it's because, I guess, in that revelation, they have to look at themselves in that.
Yeah, and I think here is a thing that I don't struggle with as much, but I think a lot of people do, is that, like, that once they accept that truth, they have to act on it.
Yeah. Your behavior has to change.
Right, and I'm like, no, you can keep on being. I'm like, I'd rather be a hypocrite than a liar. Is what I always like to say.
It's facts.
In that, like, I'm like, you know, you don't have to quit smoking once you know that smoking is bad for you. But you look like an idiot walking around smoking a cigarette, going, no, it's good for you.
It's good for you. Right.
And you're like, nah, bro, like you're lying,
Right.
so you can keep smoking.
Yeah.
You can just admit that it's a lie and, you know, keep smoking your cigarette. Like, I know that I should be eating vegan. I know that. I'm fully aware.
That was exactly the analogy I was going to. I know people that you present them like, you know, this is going to help. Like, there's so much evidence about how this is meat and cheese is linked to cancer, heart problems. Heart disease is the #1 killer of people, especially black people, high blood pressure, and diabetes. And they just, if again, like you said, if you accept that, then they have to change. People always want the solution.
I'm here to say you don't have to change. You can just
admit it.
Just admit it.
Just say you're right, but I'm still going to do this because I don't feel like putting forth the effort.
Right. Like,
That's fine.
I was arguing with someone the other day. I was like, you know, about vegan. Not the other day. I think it was a while ago. And then they started like making the arguments against it. And I go, oh no.
Yeah.
They're right.
Yeah, there's no arguments. Yeah.
I just like ribs. Like,
and that's fine.
Yeah.
You can just say that.
But I also know subconsciously, the more I keep telling myself, the closer I get to being right.
Yeah.
But like it's for like all things.
Fun.
I think a lot of people think like you know, going back to like politics or something. I've literally had people, and you watch it happen in their mind. You present to them enough just like stuff that they're like, oh yes, this is obvious facts. You are not presenting me anything from any source that I do not trust. These are all trusted sources, and this makes sense.
Yeah.
but I have to just put it away so I can keep going on with like the material construction. Like, you know, I remember one time I was talking to a Republican person, and I walked them through Bohemian.
Republicans aren't people.
You know. But like I took them through like Bohemian Grove and a bunch of different stuff and like some stuff, right? And at the end of it, they were like, "Oh my god, what am I supposed to do with it?"
They don't know what to do with it
Right.
because in their whole reality, they don't. Some people they have to believe that's not true because if it is, they don't know what.
And they will literally accept it as truth, and then their brain will like push them to forget it just so they can keep going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They'll suppress it. And they'll even forget about it until the next person like you and me comes over to ruin their lives.
Yeah. I had a whole conversation with this one girl was like, I love my Bill Clinton. And I went through
Who says that?
Mad people say it. That's why they still put him up on every stage and parade this nigga around like he ain't a multi-time rapist, harasser, all the other stuff. But they put him on every stage because that man brings numbers. People still love Bill Clinton.
People love charm.
Right.
That's all you have to do is be a charismatic son of a bitch who's semi-attractive.
You gotta charm the lollipop away from a baby and have sex with that baby.
Yeah. I heard that's his movie.
I got something else for you, my baby. Dirty old man. But yeah, one girl was like, "Oh no, I love my Bill," and then I like just.
Is this an old person?
No, young hot girl. Oh, she's like, he's hot. Da, 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 da. And I literally like walked her through Bill Clinton. She was like, "Oh yeah."
She forgot.
And then she goes, "I don't know. I just love Bill." And I was like, "Bitch, we just went over him raping people."
Don't know. Can we talk about just celebrity culture in general and just how I think that's such a huge problem that and again, I believe this is 100% by design. We put these people on pedestals and people are shocked when you learn that there's any type of malfeasance, any type of they're a derelict, and you're just like, I love them first. You don't know, they're a complete stranger. You have never met them. Why are you disappointed? But even with the Bill Cosby thing, like I grew up watching that man, loved the Cosby Show, loved the Cosby. It was like it was like a religion, and we would sit down and watch the Cosby Show as a family, and then to find out, and I was just like, okay,
all right, yeah, fuck that.
I don't know that man.
Yeah, I'm still watching the Cosby Show.
I can separate the person from the heart.
But like, throw him in the jail.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what he.
Well, I don't like jail, but like let him get beat up by the family. I don't know. I'm so like I always have to check myself. I really hate jail, so every time I find myself being like they need to be in jail, I'm like that's not really what I want to happen to them. But
he's like, no, but there are other options.
There's other options
that we need to exercise for sure.
You can stomp them out.
For sure. He's like, I can't.
Okay. I'll stop Bill Cosby. I don't give a shit about Bill Cosby. Oh.
Anyway,
he ain't running track no more.
But the way people get attached to people they don't know, and that's why they believe these things that they say. Same thing with politicians are celebrities in this culture, and people just blindly trust what they say because they give them a feeling because they said something and it moved. Don't know this motherfucker.
And as much as you like, if you really knew them, if you got beyond their feeling and looked at all the stuff they were doing, you'd be like, this is an appalling person. Disgusting person, even with the mainstream stuff that you accept.
Absolutely,
that's still off to me that they pulled Joe Biden off in this country. It's insane.
Aston, and he's I wouldn't say as obviously charming as Bill Clinton, but he's got the same thing, and it's because I blame Barack. It was him when as soon as he gave him death. As soon as they did this publicly,
they were like, "Oh, Joe."
Black people were like, they invited him recklessly to the barbecue when they had no business.
Like, why ain't your uncle at the barbecue? It's because of Joe. Joe locked your uncle up. He broke the laws. Kamala actually locked him up.
Please don't get me started.
Your sister Kamala.
Ask him.
This country, man.
And I just see the memes and all the black women just like, oh, this means so much for representation. She's the first black vice president, female vice president.
I am happy for the representation. I would like to see, because I do think Condoleezza, they should, if the Republican Party was like smarter, they would have run Condoleezza.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen the reaction to people if they would have been excited about Condoleezza.
For sure, yeah.
Like, oh, it's the first woman, like, with me.
Yeah, but no, but she's a Republican, so how could you be excited for her?
Exactly.
That's why black lives don't matter, because it's like only certain black lives matter.
Yeah.
You can't pick and choose what black lives to support and which ones mean representation while you're dismissing other ones because they disagree with your political views.
Yeah, Candace Owens, like, don't matter.
No, can I tell you they would celebrate right now if she got killed? That's how crazy the left is. They would celebrate if someone were to kill her.
The left is all fucked up.
If they've lost their minds.
They've lost their minds. They're more upset than most people.
No, I know, and I think it hurts. Not hurts, but it's just like people. Because I've said in front of people before, like I'm very critical of the left, and they're like, "Well, how come you don't ever say it?" And I'm like, "Because I wasn't a Republican. I knew what my problems were. We've been known they were trash. You know, a lot of the stuff they were doing, been screwing us over."
And they basically know they're trash. They're like, "Yeah, we trash, but whatever, fuck y'all."
Right. They are open about it. The Democrats doing stuff in secret, screwing you, pretending. That's so much worse.
And then let Democrats do the dirty work of yelling at other people and keeping other people in line. Like Democrats are dumb.
I know. Ask them. Both of our heads explode.
To explode, which is like another thing. Like when Kanye was on this, like black people don't have to be Democrats. I also thought that was like such an important message.
Yes.
And I don't think the flaw in it is that the answer was be Republicans, which I never think is the answer.
No.
But I do know that's how they swing a lot of black Democrats to Republicans because they convince them that they didn't have two choices.
For sure.
And that was Kanye's flaw initially. But I think he's gotten past that now, starting the.
He has just started his own party.
He is.
Like Trump.
It's called the birthday party. Deadass.
Wait, are you serious?
Oh, I'm deadass.
So, I thought you were kidding.
No.
Wait.
It's a birthday party.
Why?
I have questions. I think it's something like everybody's special or some shit like that. I don't know. It's not
Okay, I already have problems.
No, you're not. You're not special.
You're not special, and I don't agree with people telling you you're special. But also, I don't agree with adults like celebrating birthdays all the time.
Yeah,
we need to let it go.
I was very Jehovah's Witness.
He's like, we don't have birthdays, right?
Yeah. I tried as a Jehovah's Witness. I tried to celebrate my birthday for like a couple years, and I got real into it. And like, I'll let people like do a thing, whatever. But like this whole like, it's my birthday week, and y'all got us. I'm like, first of all, you was born however many years ago you was born. That was your birthday. Now it's just Tuesday.
Now it's just a day.
It's just another day. You celebrated with about another.
Let's keep it moving.
A few 100 million people are celebrating that you ain't special. It's his birthday too. Look at that. Look at that. Oh,
it's so many people's birthdays.
3 people came in today and said, "Oh, it's my birthday too, nigga. You not special." You sound like a fucking.
And that's just here. Like the people that also have a birthday here. Like imagine all the people around the world that have they're born in the same second, the same minute as you.
Same as
It's
you.
fine.
That's what I am when people.
We'll tell them to change the name and then maybe I'll get on board.
I'm trying to get a hold of them because I do want to do the podcast. I do hope someone sends this to him one day.
Manifest.
And there's a lot of Kanye podcasts, but they're like it's different. I think the topics here would be better for him than other Kanye podcasts. I'm manifesting.
Yeah, you should. Oh wait, are the other ones pro Kanye?
They're pro Kanye, but they're more like kind of just music and straight dick riding.
Got it. Yeah.
Whereas this
They're more fanboy podcasts.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like the first 2 parts don't got nothing to do with Kanye.
Yeah, no.
It's politics and religion. I think those are 2 things that he really likes to talk about.
For sure.
And also likes to talk about someone who's not thinking he's crazy.
Right.
But also not Nick Cannon. So I don't.
Hold on, let me put my turban on.
I thought you had it. I thought that's what you were coming with your beanie on.
It's underneath my beanie.
Yeah. All right. Tell these people where they can find you.
Oh man, it goes by so quickly.
I know, right?
We really still need to talk about slavery.
We sure didn't.
Add that on to the end of the title of the podcast.
Yes. And then slavery.
And slavery.
Yeah.
You can find me on all my social medias at Jokes by Candice. And my podcast, The Struggle with Candice Thompson's on all podcasts.
Yeah, I'm on 2 weeks ago, so.
He did do, and then there was one comment, "How dare you? I was a fan of you."
Really?
And then you
talk about, you said Fauci is a scam, and you questioned vaccines, you talked about crisis actors, and I'm like, and that's what you can't even talk about these things. You can't even just bring them up.
Discuss them. Yeah.
That's what we did. We literally said that there's some questionable things, and this is one of them.
There's some super questionable things.
Yeah, and the fact that nobody's questioning.
Because you're not allowed to mention.
You know, it's a
So you can find her at Judged by Candice, and I've been Aston Wallace, and you can find me at Pass Ramon on everything. You can find the podcast at FPRK Radio, and this will be on Spotify, SoundCloud, other things. And this is on YouTube. Like it, share it, tell your friends, and we'll see you back here next week. Peace.